Good evening, gentle listeners. Thank you for tuning in. This is a short chapter tonight, but before we get started, please be sure to hit the like button on this video, the notification bell, so that you know when I upload new videos. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It does let YouTube know that I'm here. And as a thank you, when I hit 500 subscribers, I do plan on beginning the reading of Hiding in Hip Hop. No matter where I am in these two that we are currently reading, we will begin Hiding in Hip Hop. But without further ado, we're going to continue on in the Vixen Diaries with Chapter 6, College Drop-In. One day after the airing of my Oprah episode, I was in Arkansas of all places, with Dadine in tow. Even though I often joke it took me 2 planes and a donkey to get to Philander Smith College in Little Rock, it was a trip that warmed my heart and taught me a great deal about my purpose in life. Founded in 1877, Philander Smith is one of the oldest private black colleges in the United States. Its mission is to educate young men and women who have the potential to be academically talented, regardless of their income and upbringing, and to help them reach their potential as human beings. This was my first time speaking, and here I was at a university. I, who never even graduated from high school, and the fact that someone wanted me to speak to kids who are smart enough to go to university made me feel hypocritical. Arriving at the college, I was surprised to learn how small it was. The entire student body consists of just 850 students. I was greeted with open arms by Dr. Walter Kimborough, president of the college, a man who is often referred to as the hip-hop president because he makes use of pop culture references in his teaching and lectures. With him were several students, and together we were off to a buffet dinner. At first, the students and I were in awe of one another. I kept thinking they were doing something that I've never done, getting a higher education, and they were looking at me thinking I was doing things they've never done. After the meal and small talk were over, I addressed a full house in the lecture hall, standing on the stage, staring out into the crowd and blinded by the spotlight. I was momentarily at a loss for words. I had not practiced beforehand because I did not want to sound rehearsed. I generally prefer to speak from the heart and in the moment, but in this instance, I started having second thoughts about the wisdom of that choice. I searched for the words to say with what I thought was important to these kids and silently prayed I would not fumble. Once again, my conscious state took a backseat to my subconscious, and the words just rolled from my mouth. There is never a theme to my lectures unless specified by my host, so I often find myself bouncing off questions from the crowd and speaking to issues that concern them. At Philander, the subject skipped around from dating to manipulation of music and the media, and from the diamond crisis in West Africa to feticides in India and Darfur. Wherever the group led, I followed, wanting to touch on topics of importance to them. After an hour-long talk, I was met with cheers and applause throughout the auditorium, followed by a long line of students waiting for me outside the hall to sign their copies of confessions. I can't remember everything I said to the students at Philander Smith College, but whatever it was, it must have been appreciated. My parting was just as warm as my reception, but just as I thought it was time to head back to my hotel, I found I was meant to serve an even greater purpose. It's one thing to speak in generalities to a large group of students, but quite another to sit face to face with a few young people and given the responsibility of offering them advice and answers to their most pressing personal questions. Dr. Kimborough and I convened after the lecture, along with many of the original students I had met over dinner a couple of hours earlier. Several girls pulled me aside and told me secrets about themselves. One girl showed me how she burned herself. Self-mutilation like this is rooted in severe lack of self-esteem, and most of the most of those who attempt it are young women. They try unsuccessfully to substitute physical pain for emotional anguish. Often this torment manifests itself by cutting or burning one's skin. Others turn to promiscuity or drug use. It's merely a way to divert the pain, temporarily making it go away. That was the day I realized that I have a responsibility. When confessions came out, people began throwing stones at me, calling me all kinds of harlots, branding a scarlet A on my chest or forehead. In the midst of all that public accusations, I found my purpose. In the middle of Spit Bucket, Arkansas, with students who were just trying to get an education and a chance at a better life, I suddenly understood why I was there. As I spoke to these young women, tears came to my eyes. I not only felt their pain they were in, but also identified with it on a personal level. I knew firsthand what it's like to hurt that much inside, what it's like to want that pain to leave your body so desperately that you create ways for it to do so. There are still days when I think, why am I doing this? Why am I setting myself up for all this? That was the day that gave me the answer. It is so difficult for young women to articulate what is wrong, why they are unhappy or unfulfilled. Many of us, we don't feel well at times, but don't have the proper language to put a name on it. Often we are not aware of what we are experiencing. It's really quite common and nothing to be ashamed of. That with a bit of help, we can begin to understand our feelings and know what to do when they arise again. I was happy and honored, as I always am, when young women trust me with their darkest secrets and ask me for a bit of encouragement and guidance. I told these young women what I tell so many others: talk about it. Tell someone how you feel and be honest with yourself about the hurt or where the hurt comes from. If nothing else, you have each other. For the next 35 minutes, we stood apart from the rest of the group as they offered their truths, and I comforted them with the best advice I could give. When we were finished, I sat to sign books and flyers for the students and president. A young man next to me asked if I if I minded giving him some advice as well. I was flabbergasted and overwhelmed with pride and humility all at once. As I looked this young man in his eyes, I pictured my own son at 19 years old, just 10 short years from now, needing advice about girlfriends and peer pressure. I was a bit misty as I gave him advice. I told him that regardless of whether your friends like your girlfriend, if the woman you are with screams, points, and spits, then she is not a lady and is most likely not the type of woman you want to be with, nor does she deserve you. I could see the light bulb go on inside his head, and that he knew just what I meant. There was also another young man who wanted to know what advice I could give him about being steadfast in his goals and dreams. This was something I had thought a lot about. Every day when you wake up, I told him, only do the things that you know will bring you closer to your dreams. Write a list and follow it. Books to read, people to meet, places to go. Whatever it takes, do it. And nothing else, because every day you wake up and waste the day, you're wasting your life. So you may as well be dead. And which of us wants to be dead? That's good shit. Thank you. Really, thanks. He wore dark blue baggy jeans, and a red t-shirt. His hair was in cornrows, and his teeth plated in yellow gold. Not stereotypical collegiate in the slightest, but there he was, wanting to more out of life, wanting success, and hungering for any advice he could get on how to achieve it. I gave him a hug and wished him well before sliding into my waiting town car. I will never forget the people I met at Philander Smith College. Hold on, y'all. I done talked my throat dry. And what they have taught me. In the humblest surroundings, you'll find the most magnificent blessings. And the people you never think could inspire you often do exactly that. It was a hassle getting to Little Rock. I was under enormous pressure to perform, and though I feel I could have done a whole lot better, the university's faculty seemed impressed with what I had to say. I never wanted to get so full of myself. I love the feeling of being surprised when people are impressed by me. It keeps me focused, modest, and diligent. In the back of my mind, I had been wondering if it was all worth it, but speaking with these students convinced me that it was. Thank you. I know that was short, but like I said, we will get, the next chapter was, it's kind of long, so I didn't want to just kind of begin it right now because I won't make it through it, but I will be on vacation this weekend, so I will pick up next week. We will begin, continue on, and I hope you all have a safe, happy holiday and enjoy this weekend. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. And be sure to hit this like button, the notification bell, so that you know when I upload new videos. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to that channel. If I get to 500, we will do Hiding in Hip Hop. Thank you. Bye-bye.